Incomplete Av. That's the Hebrew month representing August. August without the at the end. I'm in Av, and it comes from within. And I just said that their constellations look like a T-shirt. This T-shirt looks like this, and it's sacred. Say kadosh, kadosh, kadosh. And they are sung by the klezmer band, Gilad, Podolska, and no, that one is actually, let's see, it's not Gilad Podolska, Kulam, so together, Kulam is together, Kulam Kadu, but it's a song that they sing. Remember, I tell you one thing, the Hasidim, it's really extreme. Like, you're living as a Hasid, it's extreme lifestyle. And they love kids, boys and girls, especially the boys and girls when they're little. If I'd show you, I have to have some pictures there. I have a pile of pictures. But I don't know if I have any toddler age pictures there. It might be, but I'll show you its evidence. That little kids, their uniform. Like little kids are gender free, and that's how it has to be. Like, you don't look at their, oh my god, imagine the little girl gonna look her under the, pants and stuff. And here, I'm 9 years old, I'm 9, I'm like the stupidest socks, like just, they didn't have any better ones. Like you're living with someone, right? Like you're kind of dependent on them. But, so the socks, you just, the socks. But I'm 9 years old, and, so like little kids, now here I'm older because here I'm 6. I'm 6. I'm 6, but but I'm talking of like little 5-year-old balls. And here, they're gonna be random, but there's random pictures. But I don't have toddler really that much pictures. Maybe you're gonna find one. Here I'm 16. Here's my guitar. Guitar sassy. Here, it's tale. Here I'm 16. This was in summer, and that was on springtime. This is a Japanese shirt. It's like, because I was at the University of Warsaw studying Japanese language, and so I took a fabric. It was white, and the fabric was white, and it had those circles representing the Japanese flag. I was really into it. I was doing Japanese stuff. And studying at the Orientalistic faculty of Warsaw University, simultaneously then doing regular 10th grade. So 9th and 10th grade, 10th grade, the first, the second one after you go into high school. Like the one I went to a high school that was called, it was of the name of King Solomon the Great. My secondary school, because I only went to primary school and secondary. Like, I didn't go to gymnasium. Like, I did gym, but I did gym like on a higher level, like a better level than the and all the schools that I went to, apart from 2 years, they all had 24/7 security, because they were like the kids. And I'll tell you, in public school that I happened to stumble upon for a short while, but there was no security, and there has to be security with your kids because they're so valuable. And bullies and kidnappers and abductors, like, you might get abducted by a violent mob and the mafia that abducts children from schools. They abduct kids from schools. And you have to watch out, really, because they might abduct your kids. So if you have adolescents until the age of 18, you have to make sure, I'm giving you good advice, because I went to school where there was 24/7 protection. Like, you have to have special pass, and it had a card, even though it was a modern school built by a private religious grouping society. It was called the I don't know what it's called. It's got like the tent of the meeting, or I don't know, is that something? It was called something from the the Hebrew Old Testament. So it really made sense. But the thing is that they didn't, like, I spoke Yiddish and Hebrew, and they didn't, because I learned Yiddish when I started living at with my family, my biological family. I learned Yiddish in Israel, so that's, I knew it, but like for a while, like kids, they're busy. Like kids have a different span of attention. Like they have span of attention usually, like they say it. Like I had a span of attention for like 3-4 hours, but now I have span of attention for 8 hours. But when you're younger, you generally need you need to get more movement, like in between your tasks, like your bouts of activities. It's just normal because you're like you need more, like that's what they say. But I actually have been in deep contemplation for many months and nonstop, and even though theoretically as a 6th grader, but I could go on for really long. So it's not a theory. Now the kids have a short attention span. I guess you have a short attention span. So there has to be, put your kids seriously in when there's security 24/7. Because if you don't, I'll tell you what happens. In public school that I happened to stumble upon this one here, anyone can walk into the school and abduct and the mobsters, like the mafia criminals, they can go into the school and take any abducted child for trade of organs or for brothels, to child prostitution, to prostitute the children, because they're not knowing what's happening. They're gonna, even they were warning us. They were like warning us when I was in that school right here. They were telling the kids, like, watch out if somebody introduces himself as a friend of your daddy. He says, I'm your dad's friend, I'm your uncle, and he's gonna take your car and drive you and film you naked when you're 9 or 10 years old, or 11 for boys, or for girls the same thing. I'm gonna adopt you, not adopt you. It was a vocalization. Abduct you, kidnap. They're gonna drive you away. They're not gonna kill you in the woods because they're gonna make money on your body. It happens everywhere. They sell you for, not that any acceptors of human body parts require any of those transfusions and transplantations. Not transfusion is blood, but I had blood transfusion. I was abducted. Like I know it because I was abducted and I had a blood transfusion, although I did not require it. I had many medical procedures and surgical operations that I did not require at all, but they were doing it for money and for play, or out of sadism. That they're evil and they hated me because I was American, right? And nobody spoke English. I mean, they do speak English in Warsaw. In Warsaw, all the kids spoke English fluently, but not in a small town, right? So it's hatred. That's the causation. And so if you don't have enough money to put your children in a private school where there is security, then you might as well just keep them at home and use homeschool program, just like correspondence with the United States of America and other like places, like England, or if you're good enough, Israel. You can correspond, teach them, because if you send them to public, they're gonna get abducted. I tell you, like, it's going to happen. The mobsters, they were stationing in some, like, island in the Atlantic, some, pirates island. That happened to be, El Salvador. But I have a friend in El Salvador, Mauricio, and he's also a lawyer, but he has a family. He has an Indian wife who's a really like cute, young, dark-haired Indian wife. It's actually his birthday now because that's March is his season. April is his birthday, and Mauricio Avila. And then he has a son who's like a kid, a 10-year-old child. And they're really, but they're educated, part of the society of El Salvador, with the capital San Salvador. But then there's this other guy also in that island of a country, and I'm not saying it's bad. Like it's impressive. Like their ancestors made a country from scratch. not like Israel. Oh, right. But so, and the other guy, like a total mobster, right? Like we saw him at the age of 21 in Chelsea, New York City, like in Manhattan Island, that island. And no, not in Chelsea, but we've seen him in Lincoln Center, and like on 59th Street, like when there's South Central Park under there on the mid west side of Manhattan, New York City of New York. And there was this guy, like this, he was wearing a suit and had like really expensive clothing, but it's from drug trade or human trafficking. 100, like, 100%. It's human trafficking. They take kids, they abduct kids from schools, and they use them for organs. And if there's girls, they're going to put them in brothels. And boys, well, how are you going to monetize a boy? There are three options. Physical labor of slavery, physical work, you have to work as a slave in in the 18th century in the USA or in ancient Rome. You're going to have to work physically, or you're going to be a sex slave, or they're going to cut you up for body parts. So yes, so put your children, place them, like make your money and place them in private school like I went. I went to a very safe havens of secondary schools. I went to three, four, five different ones. Like I tried on different ones. I love them because I'm international. Like I spoke different like language to language, but also I happen to be a multi-glot. But okay, so. Just it comes from my good senses. Just sense of I just have sharp eye vision, hearing, sense of scan, and also good taste in art, and I also have very like intelligent feelings because I've been raised by in those private special schools, like the specials, not for kids who are retarded, but I've seen a retard once. I see the retard, and they were making grammatical mistakes. But now my friends, they're so smart. It's crazy. Like I just stopped talking about myself. My friends, they're so amazing. They're so intelligent. I'm in total Jewish month of August. Without the E at the end, it's an A and W. But the father is A with a V. Like video, the father in Hebrew is A and V, and the Av is like the month, but it's also a job dropping situation. It's matzav when you're totally amazed, like you're in total admiration. That's what you're in, and so you can go on with like I'm not the queen of adjectives, I guess. I'm a queen of verbs. Yeah, and I'm a princess of adjectives. I have good command of language because I spend time. That's what my schooling was about. So watch out for kids. Make sure that they don't get abducted by strangers and used for sex slave, for medical experimentations as live frog models for pseudo medical students at or for money. They're gonna vivisection. It means they're doing live surgery and filming it for even for fame, or even they're so total reckless. Unsound units that they even they make it and they just like dissipate it, and and it doesn't, at that point it doesn't matter whether they're selling it or they're not selling that material, illegal material.